Hey there, UPL fans. Ash and Moore here. We're finally into the playoffs of the UPL. So we made it. We're the last seed. And unfortunately, Lucky, who we've already played twice now, is the top seed. So we're going to be playing against him very first thing in the playoffs, which I'm not really looking forward to because I have lost to this guy twice now. Third time's the charm, though. Obviously, we're going to do something a little bit different. Mostly, the last two teams I've run against him have been predominantly the same, with some minor changes. We're going to be running two completely different mons this time around. The first one's going to be a lowland Marowak. Now, why this guy, and why have I not run him before? Now, he's not the greatest against the team that he normally brings. But all of the things that he has yet to bring, so the Shaman, the Reuniclus, and the Pincer, Marowak is exceptionally good against those. Additionally, Mega Gallade does not quite kill a Alolan Marowak with knockoff, which means that we could just sit in on it, get a Shadow Bone off, and he would never expect that it would actually survive that. Marowak also kind of serves the purpose of forcing out Zapdos. I thought about using Lightning Rod for this build, but it's not really necessary. Zapdos isn't going to be able to 2H KO me anyway, unless he's an offensive variant, which I highly, highly doubt. We could also, with Earthquake, kill the Nidoqueen, or potentially kill the Empoleon if he happens to bring those. I do not expect to see Empoleon. I either expect to see the same team that he brought last time, or a completely different idea with all the different stuff that I had talked about, in which case, you know, Marowak will deal with all those things. No reason to run it speed investment. We're just going to run our standard kind of bulky, beat the hell out of it set. Also, we could also sit in on Finny. With Thunder Punch, we can take any sort of Scald or Hydro Pump, assuming he's not calm-minded up. So that's going to be pretty easy to do. The other different Pokemon I'm going to be using this time around is Greninja. We're going to go max speed. We don't really need to, I suppose. We could go down to Lycanroc speed tier, but I think if he brings Noivern again, it might be modest. It might not be fully invested in speed because he may not think I'm going to bring the Greninja, so I'm just going to go max speed anyway. Gunk Shot, Ice Beam, Dark Pulse, that's going to be our main, coverage against most of his team. The main move here, though, is Water Shuriken. So, in the last game that I played against him, the reason we lost was because of a crit on the Celesteela from a +2 Lycanroc Stone Edge. And then, obviously, Accelerock can, kill a lot of the less bulky things. What do we do if he sets that up again? It's obviously, it's been very effective both times he's played against me. So why would he not bring it? Water Shuriken with 3 hits actually has a chance to just OHKO straight up on Lycanroc. So if he gets out of control again, this is my answer to that. That's basically what we're going to be conserving Greninja for the entire time. Obviously, he could still kill, weakened Tapu Finnies with the Gunk Shot, Shamans. He can kill the Noivern with Ice Beam, that kind of thing. But mainly, he's here as a counter to Lycanroc. As far as the rest of my sets, I'm not doing too much different. I'm going to run Choice Specs Thunderous T as kind of an overall breaker. So we're going to go Thunderbolt. That's going to be our main move that we spam. Dark Pulse is there really for the Reuniclus, and potentially even if the Mega Gallade switches in. Hidden Power Flying is just kind of there for Shaman, Pincer, and Mega Gallade. It OHKOs all of them. That's really the build kind of here, the idea here. Psychic's there chiefly for the Nidoqueen, and for no other reason. So if we think he's, hey, maybe going to switch in the Nidoqueen against those, we can click Psychic and potentially kill that as well. The Steela, I'm going to be running considerably different than last time. This is going to be a Special Attacker Sponge. So we're going to be boosting Special Defense on the Steela rather than any sort of attack stat. And we're going to be running a plethora of coverage moves that are going to deal with things. Leftovers, Leech Seed are pretty obvious. Instead of trying to take out the Zapdos with like a Rock EMZ, we'll be trying to leech it down a little bit with Leech Seed, or force out the Finny with Leech Seed. Heavy Slam, Air Slash, Giga Drain are going to be our, just coverage moves. So those will hit pretty much everything on his team, at least neutrally, for pretty huge damage. But tank Steela this time around. We're not relying on Steela to sweep. What we are relying on is the Diancie. So we're going to run pretty much the exact same Diancie set we've been running the last couple of times, except we're going to change out the Earth Power for Psychic, because Psychic's going to be better against the Nidoqueen, and don't expect them to bring in Empoleon, like I've said. Calm Mind, obviously, there's plenty of times to set that up. The other main change is, while we are bringing Licky again, we're not bringing the Explosion Choice Band variant that we brought the last 2 times. Instead, this time we're going to be bringing Z Me First, which I think is pretty exciting. However, I will go ahead and say that when I made this team, I did not understand what Z Me First actually does. I thought that Z Me First gave you the speed boost at the beginning of the turn for some reason, and not when you actually use the move. So I thought that you had the +2 speed on the turn that you used it. That is not the case. That is not the case, as I have learned. So Z Me First, while it is, I think, still good, is not anywhere near as good as I thought it was going to be. The idea was I would put Licky in against something that he absolutely cannot have explode. I would Swords Dance, and then I would Z Me First on the next turn after he switches in something else, and just kind of sweep him off from there. That isn't going to work out. I'm just going to say that up front. But that was the idea behind it. Try to do something different with my Z Crystal. I've yet to use Licky as a Z Crystalmon. I think this was going to do enough to kind of throw him off, that maybe we can get some sort of an advantage with it. Anyway, that's the team builder. A little bit of a different team this time around. Hopefully that'll work out and we can beat Lucky and get to the next round of playoffs. Welcome to the battle portion of the video. As you can see from the team lineup, he has brought the exact same team as last week in week 12. So I have a general pretty good idea of what he's going to go for here. I don't blame him for bringing the same team. If I had won 2 games with roughly the same team, I'd probably want to keep using it too, because it's pretty effective. But we've got some extra tools this time around. So what's he going to lead? Probably Noivern or Nidoqueen, if I had to guess. My thought is, I'm going to lead the Celesteela. At the very least, I'll get some chip damage with that. It matches up pretty well against both of the leads that he could potentially have, and I definitely don't expect Zapdos to come out first. So that is exactly what we're going to do. So we do go Steela. He goes Finny. We're going to click Leech Seed. That's a pretty easy one. Obviously, since we're a special sponge, we're going to be able to take the Scald, no problem. Eat it up with Leech Seed. I expect him to switch out, which he does into Zapdos, and I spam Leech Seed again. Obviously, I'm not going to stay in on this. I'm going to go into the Marowak because it's kind of my counter switch into Zapdos. He's going to U-turn out, go into Nidoqueen. We can eat an Earth Power, and we do, and KO it right back with the Earthquake. He's going to send the Gallade. I'm going to leave Marowak in just in case he goes for a Swords Dance. He does not. He goes for Knockoff, and then I'm going to go into Mega Diancie. Now, Leaf Blade's the only move he can click here that'll kill me, but I end up winning the Speed tie anyway, so not a big deal. Finny comes in. Obviously, not going to leave the Diancie in. I'm going to go right back out into Steela. He reveals he's Calm Mind once again. We're just going to go for Leech Seed and then recover stuff up and hit him with Heavy Slams until he's either dead or switches out. That's the idea here. He is going to keep spamming the Calm Mind. He's going to need probably +4 in order to even get close to 50% against the Steela build that we're running. Luckily, he also doesn't ever get a burn, so really one more Heavy Slam will kill him here. Otherwise, he's just going to have this pretty neutered Finny running around. Unfortunately, he does get a crit there. That does matter. We could live a defensive Zapdos discharge at 60%, which we should have been at, but we don't. So that's down. Just going to go right into Diancie, hit the Diamond Storm. Turns out he's Charty Berry, which is a pretty smart bring. We do get the defense boost, which is nice. Diamond Storm again. That'll end Zapdos. Give us +3 defense, which is insane. Now at this point, there's really no reason for us not to just go Diamond Storm again, which we will do. He does reveal Steel Wing tech, but thanks to the +3, we're going to avoid that. We do miss our Diamond Storm, though. That's going to let us lose a little bit more HP before we take this out with Moonblast. And then the Lycanroc's going to come out. We're going to hit Moonblast. That's not going to kill it since we don't have Earth Power this time, but it does put it in range of our Greninja. This is where that Z Me First bullshit comes into play, though, because I didn't realize that it wouldn't work here. And so we basically just lose the Licky for nothing, but not a big deal. We just go in Greninja, hit Water Shuriken, We end the game killing that Lycanroc. And that's GG. We move on to round 2 of the playoffs against Grubbins. We're going to get to rematch him. Finally managed to beat Lucky. It's been fun playing him the last 3 times. He put together a really, really solid team. Now, post battle, we did talk about that speed tie with the Mega Gallade. He did hit close combat, which would not have killed. There was no way, because I went a minus special defense nature specifically for that purpose. If he had Leaf Blade, then it would have maybe come down to a 50-50 for this battle. But also, given that I didn't really use the Thunderous at all, I think we still would have done pretty well. Even if we had lost the speed tie, we still would have taken most of Zapdos' HP out, and we would have been able to finish it off with that Specs Thunderous T. Anyway, GG to Lucky. Looking forward to playing against you some more next season. Stay tuned for the rest of the playoffs. We'll see how far we can go.